I'm very excited to introduce today's guest, Adham Al-Sayyad. Adham is a materials engineer, a musician of the traditional Egyptian instrument Kawala, and the founder of Belong, a community providing a sense of belonging to multicultural communities in Luxembourg and beyond by embracing their cultural heritage. Today, I'm honored to talk to him about his journey from Egypt to Luxembourg, his music and spiritual journey, and of course, the community Belong. Adam, welcome.
Thank you. And thank you very much for inviting me and for having me.
Yes.
Appreciate it a lot.
This has been planned. You are the first guest that I thought of inviting when I started this.
Appreciate it. It's an honor.
podcast.
Thank you.
Yes. So first of all, we heard you play the Kawala. Can you tell us more about your first encounter with the Kawala, and what was it about this instrument that spoke to you?
Well, actually, I didn't know that anything about Kawala at the beginning. I didn't even know that it existed.
Yeah.
There's a very high similarities between Kawala and Ney. Ney is another flute, Oriental flute,
Yeah.
which is very common. It's not only in Egypt; it's also being played in the Arab world in general. And Kawala is very particular Egyptian traditional instrument. So I knew the sound of it because I was raised in Tanta, where usually this instrument is being played in traditional ceremonies and settings. So I knew the sound. I felt very much attached to it, but I thought it was an A. And so at the very beginning, when I started my journey with music, I'd say, my first drive was I was driven by the urge of expressing our traditional music in electronic music,
Okay.
because I found a lot of similarities between the rhythms and the beats, but I found that our traditional rhythms has much more richness in it and much more complications, and of course to me it had much more significance because I felt it. So I had the feeling that okay, it would be very much interesting to have our traditional music in electronic music. And I started self-learning very much basics. And I liked the sound of Kawara, as I told you, even that I did not know the name.
Yeah.
And then I found a place in Egypt called Egyptian Center for Culture and Arts. I moved to Cairo by then to study. And this place, they had lessons on Kawala. I just saw the photo and I said, I saw Kawala, what is this? What is this? This is an A. Okay, I would like to learn A. And then I went to buy one first, and I do not even remember if I bought a Kawala or an Aya this time, or if it was first or second. But yeah, the funny thing is when I bought one, I was just trying to play with it, and it did not make any sound. So I went back to the guy, and I was like, "Why are you selling me something that does not work?"
Yes.
Yeah, because it's not a very easy, straightforward instrument to get sound out of.
Yeah.
But yeah, so when I went there, I learned that okay, it's Kawala, it's not Ney. And this place in particular, it just opened a lot of things for me, because they work on preserving Egyptian traditional music from all around Egypt, and also integrating Egyptian traditional music with other styles of music. So they host residencies with international artists to exchange music from both cultures and then come up with a product. And Dr. Ahmed Al-Maghrabi, who is also the founder of this place, Egyptian Center of Culture and Arts, he has a very interesting way of making music, I'd say. So he's not a musician himself, but he just brings people together. And I started to live there, I'd say.
Yeah.
So,
You become a disciple.
Yeah, exactly. So I started to go there a lot to try to learn as much as I can from Dr. Ahmed Al-Maghrabi and from the place and from every other musician who is always there. And then I met my mentor, who is Ahmed Al-Arnab. And Ahmed Al-Arnab is a very special person. He's, I don't know, I think like it's the type of people that you just feel that, okay, wow, that's life is just a blessing, you know, just when you meet those people. And then you start to learn a lot, not only Kawala. And then Kawala starts to be only a small part of learning how to deal with life in general.
Okay.
It's not only about, okay, how to make sound of an instrument,
Mm-hmm.
but the question of how to make sound of an instrument is an interesting question.
Yes.
And those types of questions, when I ask him, for example, that, okay, how can I make a sound, or how can I make this note?
Mm-hmm.
The funny thing is he do not know.
Mm.
And he knows, but he just do not know. He does
Mm-hmm.
not know how he does it, but he knows that this is how it sounds.
Mm.
So then he always start to think how to answer me.
Mm-hmm.
And then the look in his eyes, for me, I just translated that, okay, he does not know how
Mm-hmm.
it's being done.
Yes.
And then he looks at me and he tells me, okay, listen. And then he does it.
Mm-hmm.
And then he looks at me again and he asks me, now try to do it.
Yes.
And then I try to do it. And then he tells me, hey, good, try again, try again. And then I try to do it. And then he tells me, listen again. And then I listen again.
Mm-hmm.
So then I learned at the end that, okay, the process of doing something is as simple as just doing it.
Mm-hmm.
You just need to do it. But you should have your reference.
Mm-hmm.
You really should know where you would like to go.
Mm-hmm.
So first you should really listen, have this sound in your heart, in your mind, in your brain, and then starting from there, you just go there.
Mm-hmm.
You will not go, you will fall a lot, but then you will learn how to fall or how not to fall, and then you will start to adjust yourself to where you would like to go.
Mm-hmm.
So this is one simple thing that I learned from him and through the Kawala.
Yes, it seems like he conveyed something larger than simply the sound itself,
Of course.
and that something larger spoke to you.
Of course.
Yeah.
No, I mean it's completely it's like very interesting. I can give you also another example, which is very counter. I don't know how to say this, but capitalism maybe.
Mm-hmm.
So he's a very simple guy who's very oh okay, now Arabic comes into play. So there's a word in Arabic which I do not know any English translation of.
Mm-hmm.
It's called ghani.
Reni.
And this does not mean rich. It does not mean, so rich in English means that a person who has everything.
Mm-hmm.
Ghani means a person who needs nothing, who does not
Mhm.
want anything.
Yes.
So there is a complete different paradigm there.
Yes.
And I do not know an English word that describes this.
I think it's something along the line of fulfilled, of self-fulfillment.
Yeah, maybe.
He has achieved contentness with
yeah,
life.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yes.
And he's really like on the top, you know?
Yes.
So, yeah, so for example, this is very funny. So I was calling him once when I used to go there. So I used to learn Kawala by just going. I asked him, okay, so how did you learn?
Mm-hmm.
And he told me, "Yes, I had a great master that I loved a lot. And then I used to go to this master, I used to listen to him wherever he goes to play. I just used to go there and sit down under his feet and listen, and record every single sound that he does. And then I come back home, I get my Kawala, and I do everything as he said exactly. So I said, okay, interesting. It's a very interesting way to learn. And then I started to do the same,
Yeah.
using my recorder because I cannot record with my ears as such that he does. But this is what I was doing basically, just recording him, documenting him wherever he goes,
Yeah.
and doing what he's doing, trying, of course, to do what he's doing as much as I can.
Mm-hmm.
And so there is this one time where there is a solo of him that I just took a video of once, and I shared it on YouTube.
Mm.
And of course, when people listened, because he was not, like he didn't have a lot of videos on YouTube. He's like literally the best, for me, the best Kawala player ever in the world.
Yeah.
But he just, he doesn't care, he's having fun.
Yes, exactly.
And but I started to care because I'm like, okay, no, this material is needed not only for me to learn, for anyone else who needs to learn.
Mm-hmm.
So I started to shoot, and then I started to share this all online. And so there is one guy who he's a Kawala player also. And then he made a solo who is he's trying to copy his solo, okay? He's trying exactly to copy his solo. So I was irritated, which is interesting. And of course it could be like, of course, oh yeah, you should be irritated. Why is this guy like doing the same? So, like, okay, for us in this capitalist world of crazy things going on and copyright stuff and all this, we are like, what is this? So I had this impression. So I called him and I was very, like upset. hey, Ahmed, did you see what happened? And it's like, hey, what happened? And I was like, yeah, there is this guy, he played your solo, he tried to play your solo exactly, and they showed it on YouTube. And then he was like, oh, wow, amazing. God bless him. I wish him all the best. This is great news, Adam. Thank you very much. And then my brain is like, error, error 101. What is going on?
Yeah.
How? What is going on? My paradigm is just something is wrong, Why was I upset and why is he very happy?
Yes.
Something is, I could not understand. But then I understood
Yes.
that actually this is life, this is the meaning of life. It's basically, if you look at anything with value on it, it's very rarely that you can find the name written on it. For example, bread. Who invented bread?
The print.
Bread
Brand.
that we eat. Everyone eats bread.
Okay, bread. Yes.
All this civilization, we cannot survive without eating bread. But who invented bread? I think if it had a name on it, people would not have used it actually, which is quite interesting. Think about calligraphy. In Arabic calligraphy, we have many different fonts. No one knows who made this font. And I think this is why it survived. Because I think if you put your name on something and you claim that it's yours, which is a very false claim, by the way, and this is what I learned from him, that no, there is nothing which is mine. He's telling me that his way of learning is copying his master exactly. So for him, if someone copied him exactly, this is a great honor, actually. It's not that, okay, no, you're taking all my work, No, it's actually a great honor.
Yes. I think there is, by copying, in my opinion, there's no way of someone copying you exactly, because they are a different person. And they try to imitate, maybe. But by the act of imitating, then they create something original as well. Although I think there is a difference between high integrity copying and low integrity copying. Yes.
But there are copies in general, like for a painting. Someone would say, oh, wow, that's a very interesting painting. They try to do it. It's never the same. I mean, if the artist who did the painting tries to do it again, he will not succeed.
Yes.
So it will never be the same, definitely.
Every time it will be different.
It has to be different.
Yes.
But this concept of like, oh, wow, it's he's happy. It's very good that people are like taking this painting and doing it, a lot. And he will be very happy if someone did it exactly the same, that you would never be able to like make a difference. So he perceived it as something which is amazing.
Yes.
I perceived it in a completely different way.
Yeah.
So I had to just, correct my ways, the ways that I look into life.
Yes. I think it also touched on perceptions. For the same thing, different people can perceive it very differently, and depends on how you perceive it, your view on life is also different. Like this perception of his seems like he's a person who's positive and have a lot of see a lot of beauty in things. Yes, as opposed to someone, if you view it in a negative lens, then it's a reflection also of the heart as well. Yes.
And interestingly, it hurts when you look at it negatively. Like for me, I was upset, so I had this hurting feeling. It hurted me. And when I understood that, actually, it has to be completely the opposite, I understood that it hurted me because I blocked something which is good, which nature is just telling me, you have to let it flow. If you try to block this, it will hurt you, It will hurt you. It has nothing to do with anyone else, okay? People will find the music, it doesn't make a difference. But it will hurt you if you block it.
Yes.
And so all those, different things that I learned from this guy, it's through Kawala, but through just a hollow tube with 6 holes on top of it.
Yes. But it's
priceless.
Yes. It's through, like, Kawala. It seems like Kawala is an outward expression of the value behind it.
Of course.
And then there are many layers behind it that you express through this instrument.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I'm going to ask you a question about that I know it's ironic, but can you describe what are the emotions of or truth that you feel you can express through music, but you cannot necessarily express in words? I realize the irony in this question because I'm trying to ask you to describe something that
That
cannot be
described in
described. But and the stories you were talking about as your master could not describe the how he does his art, but could you try to articulate a little bit what are the feelings or truths?
I mean, this is also an interesting question because actually, so I came from Egypt where we have certain scales, for example, that has certain feelings. So they convey certain feelings. And I saw that this is a global thing. It's a universal thing that
Yes.
if you just like put those notes closer together in the frequency, it will start the feeling of sadness in people. But then I learned that actually, no, it's not the case.
Okay.
It's a cultural thing, which for me also made me more interested. The major scale, which is very happy in the Western world, could be actually used in the very sad situations that could convey very sad feelings in some parts in Asia. So it's very, very difficult to look at music. It could be very difficult actually to look at music in a language that is globally understood in one way. So I think, yeah, we have also this poet. It goes like فيطرب من لم يدرها عند ذكرها كمشتاق نعم كلما ذكرت نعم. So it's like people would move when they hear it, but everyone would move also differently because they would perceive it differently.
Yes.
So if I'm playing something which for me is sad and I'm putting all my energy into it, for example, someone else could perceive it very differently.
Yes.
But I think they would still perceive this so much feelings and energy I put into it, even if it would have perceived in a different meaning. And I think it would be perceived in a different meaning for each and every person. Everyone would take it differently and enjoy it differently also. So I'm not sure if it has one message for each and every. It has a message,
Yeah.
but it's not one.
Okay. So it's a type of feeling and energy that music can convey.
Of course.
Yeah. So when you moved from Egypt to Luxembourg, did you to pursue a PhD degree in engineering?
Yeah.
Yeah. So did you continue your practice?
Yes.
Yes. I would like to ask you also the aspect of being an engineer as well as an artist and musician. Do you believe these two fields are truly distinct, or do you think they share a deeper and underlying connection? Because you seem to embody the two disciplines that often seen from the outside as opposite of each other. One, engineering, often are perceived as logic, problem solving, and music is about emotion, self-expression. How do you think this interplays inside of you, and how do you create a sense of wholeness between these two very different disciplines?
I think so. So when I first came into Luxembourg and then I started engineering, it was not enough. I still
Yes.
needed music actually, and
Yes.
and this was the start of the now Belong project. Back then it was an ACA project at the University of Luxembourg. But for me it was just difficult to only stay with engineering because for me I don't know, life is just much more, much more than music also, and much more than engineering.
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
just much more. And there is a lot of to explore and a lot to learn from, and so a lot of fun out there. And so when I first came, only just doing engineering, it was just not enough, as I told you. And then I had to do some music,
Yeah.
and I had the problem that I'm not, let's say, a blues or jazz musician, and I wanted also to express myself and my culture. So back then, I went to the University of Luxembourg, a space culture director. It was François Carbon. I just knocked on his door. Amazing guy, also really nice guy.
Yeah.
And says like, "Hi, Francois. I'm Adham. I play Kawala. I come from Egypt, and I would like to do also coming back from the background where from the Egyptian Center of Culture and Arts, where I learned as well uh, cultural management in a way. And then okay, I just like to do a workshop on Egyptian traditional music." And then he looked at me and was like, "Oh wow, that's very interesting, Adham. But why only Egyptian music?" And this was the start of the journey of Anesthesia, which later became Belong. And then I thought that, oh, of course, yes, there is much more than Egyptian music. So the word, and especially in Luxembourg, it's a very cosmopolitan company. So there is a lot to explore. So I would like to learn as well. Why is it
Yes.
that I would just like tell
Yeah.
people, okay, this is what I have. What does people have?
Yeah.
And this was how music started with engineering in Luxembourg. But coming back to your question of, in general, if there are links between both fields, I think there's links between all fields actually. In
Very abstract level, I guess.
in a very abstract level,
Yeah.
of course, and also in a practical level, and there is also very very like distinct features. Maybe the distinct features could be more towards, I'd say, the community itself. So basically, how people interact in the engineering world and how people interact in the culture world rather than the musician world, which is something a little bit different. Because also what I'm doing in music is not only playing music; it's also cultural management. So if you think about cultural management and engineering, then there is a really strong link when it comes to project management in general. For example, proposal writing. So I used my proposals that I wrote during my PhD on scientific and engineering projects as a template to write the proposal for the
For
Belong
the
project.
okay.
And of course, it's the same idea. Okay, what's the impact of your project?
Yeah.
What is it? Of course, it's a valid question, in both fields.
Yeah.
So there are, and this is a skill which could be applied in both. Project management also, if you have deliverables, you have a budget, and then you need to deliver this deliverable at this time within budget.
Yeah.
And you need to report, okay, if you have it in here or in there, it's just the same job.
Yeah.
So there are some parts which I'm doing which are like really, it's exact. It's the same, it's just like different pictures,
Yeah.
And there, I have to admit that the skills I learned from music is helping a lot in engineering.
Okay.
And that the skills I learned from engineering is helping a lot in also, I'm not speaking about music, sorry, about in cultural management in general.
Yes.
For
Okay.
example, if I'm doing a presentation in engineering, it's mostly artistic.
Okay.
And
How do you convey that?
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so then people, they get the message in a different way. They interact with me in a different way than a very, like plain
Yeah.
presentation. And if I'm doing a project
Yeah.
in culture, I'm doing it engineering, Gantt charts. Okay, this
Yeah.
is the timeline, guys.
Yes.
This is my milestone. This is what I'm gonna do here. This is what
Yeah.
I'm gonna, and this is a very much engineering mindset.
Yeah. So you can kind of apply the strengths of each side
of
to
Of course.
yeah structure the.
Of course.
That's very interesting.
it helps.
And are you always conscious of how people are perceiving the message you're sending? Because as we said, people have different perceptions of the information you present. Is this something you learned to, or are you're always mindful of because I think as an art I went to art school, and the background I have was always I do whatever I want. I was not always conscious of how others are perceiving my work. I was always like, okay, I did my work. why do I need to care how other people are perceived? I'm only noticing these things now, entering the workforce, and were you always conscious of this aspect
So
of communication? Yeah.
for this, like the aspect of feedback, I think there's many things that I was just like I have been through, which I learned a lot when it comes to this. So, for example, this flute, if I don't hear myself, I cannot play the right note because I could have a span of 2 notes in one hole. So, like, all this. So, okay, which one? And I need to hear it.
Yeah.
So, this is one thing where feedback is your aim, like if you do not have the feedback, you're lost. The other thing in traditional music in general, we play for the people. So I remember one concert. I had my friends from the Education Center of Culture and Arts to come over,
Yeah.
and so they are old musicians, more than 70 years old, and they are like really deep in traditional music. It's one of the arts which is unfortunately vanishing from the world. Those are the last people who play it. It's called Zar, ritual music, and it's a ritual music.
Yeah.
They speak a language that no one understands, thousands of years old language that they even do not understand. It's just like an amazing type of art. And it's a healing ritual. So they interact with the people. And the idea is it's called Kodia, so the lead singer, you can call it, but they do not call themselves singers. And they do not call their songs, they call it roles. And it's like they are making the person to live in a role. And the idea, they just like do percussions, polyrhythmic, very interesting, very complicated, amazing. And they do this until this person who's being served, until it's usually a lady, this type of art, but also can be men, but usually it's women who do this one. Men in Egypt, they have another type of ritual music, which they prefer to go to. But they do this rhythm until this person just falls on the floor and faints. And then they come back fresh and clean and beautiful and okay, no problems anymore.
Yes.
And so you see how deep the connection is between, or the connection has to be between this person and or the audience and the musician. I mean, they're serving the person. And the idea goes that this person, she starts with a certain role. And then she looks at the person who's trying to get healed. And the lead singer is starting with a certain role, and she looks, okay, no, it doesn't, click. Okay, let's try another one. It's
Okay,
this one.
I
Boom. So this is the idea.
Yeah.
And we had those people over in Luxembourg to we invited them at the Escher Theater here in Esch.
Okay.
And we had a concert with other local musicians. So we had a workshop for 1 week with local musicians. We explored their amazing arts and we tried to integrate ours with Mexican music, Swedish music, and other music. And we had a concert in the theater. And it was the first time for me to be in a theater, maybe even as an audience.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay, so I'm standing on stage.
Yeah.
And then boom, lights, and then boom, no lights, and no audience. You see no one. And this is bad. This is really bad.
Okay.
In this setup. Those people are for the people.
Yeah.
They
Because
do
you
not play
don't
you don't
you don't see
see.
anything.
So I don't know, guys, which one should I do? And it's a
Yeah.
problem.
So it's always you have to adjust your art towards the audience you're expressing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And this is in traditional music in
And-
general, at least in Egypt, which
Yeah.
I'm familiar with. But what I learned also through Belong, it's, I think, in almost all cultures. That,
Yes.
you have to get this. If you don't
Yes.
see it, you're just lost. You don't know, okay,
Yeah.
what am I doing?
Yeah, otherwise you don't get to connect. I think the connection aspect is so important for being a human, I think.
Of course.
Yeah.
But then for the other musical culture, I'd say, which is far from traditional music, is if you read notes, for example, in an orchestra or in a Western music setup, classical music setup, you are reading notes. So it's okay, you are having something that you play. You don't look to the people, you look at your sheets. The people, they stay silent
Yeah.
because, so it's a completely different way of playing and different style of music. So I would also say that this is not something general in all styles. This connection is not
Yeah.
always there,
Yeah.
but in traditional music in general, it's really highly active. It has to be because
Okay.
it's music for the people.
Mm.
So there is always no stage, you know.
Yeah.
There is no barrier between audience
Mm-hmm.
and this is what we did in the Asher Theatre concert. We invited the people on stage because there is no other way.
Yes.
And
Yes.
yeah, it was fun.
Yes. I think this also maybe through this craft of having to perform, you have to observe the audience and always have the feedback loop, and that actually in an abstract level also relate to how you do presentations for engineers, I guess, because you have to break a complex concept down to a digestible format and break it down into different levels of complexity. It depends on who you are talking to. Yeah. So that's something I'm learning a lot. Yes.
One thing which could help also is teaching.
Yes.
I mean, this is, because your aim is for this person to understand.
Yes.
It's nothing else. It's really like, okay, did you understand? And teaching also teaches that teaches which questions you should ask, to make sure that the other person understands, or to lead the other person into understanding just by answering those questions. So I think teaching is a very interesting.
So teaching, you think, is about asking questions also?
Of course.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, if you have the time. But of course, this is the best way to teach. It's never to give answers. It's never to give a single answer, actually.
Okay.
An answer is not, this is not a way to teach. And this is again how my master used to teach me.
Okay.
And this is again what taught me how teaching should be done.
I see. Well,
Answer should not be given. Because there is no right answer and there is no one way to an answer. So you just ask the question and then the other person needs to think how to answer the question. You could give tools on how to answer on how to answer questions, But the best is, okay, so you ask a question, the other person needs to find a way to answer. It could be even experimentation. Because, okay, what if this other person come up with an experiment that just comes up with a scientific revolution, changes the scientific paradigms that we are currently all believing in. Just because he thought for himself, or herself.
Question provokes good answers.
Of course. I mean, all answers are good answers.
Yeah, I guess teaching is not about dictating the result. And
no.
Yes, I think people often make that mistake. Yeah. That's very good. I will reflect on that for sure. So I want to dig a little bit deeper into, you said that life is larger than just engineering and just music. And it seems like something deeper inside you is calling you to create and connect. Where do you think that comes from? And you have this urge to act upon your desire also, not just to think about it.
I have no idea. I don't know.
Yeah. Just a mystery. Yes.
I don't know.
Yeah, because it seems like many people think but do not have enough agency to act. Everyone thinks about, I want to create
no, for me, I think it's
that.
just pure coincidence. I'm just lucky. I mean, alhamdulillah. Really, I am just lucky that I met Francois Carbon. I'm just lucky that I met Ahmed Al-Arnab, I'm just lucky that I met Francois Carbon, that I asked him I would like to do a workshop on Egyptian. Why only Egyptian? Yeah,
but then there is still like this curiosity inside you, or this agency that pushes you to, because a person can look at the same thing and ignore the opportunities it seems like if they're not
See, I
open
think what you
to
mentioned is the right word. It's just opportunities. It's real opportunities, you know.
yeah.
It's an opportunity.
Mm.
So it's like, okay, should I go out of home or should I stay home?
Mm.
Just a simple question. Okay, you have more opportunities if you just walk on the streets to have
Yeah.
more things
Yeah.
that you would
Yeah.
have than if you just stay between the same four walls.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just getting different inputs, which generates different things,
Mm-hmm.
and then having excitement.
Open to the opportunities
Of
that
course.
comes up. Yeah.
And
Not closing oneself down and live in narrow space.
no.
Yeah. Yes. I think that's a quality that not everyone have. It seems
and
like
maybe actually, I mean, if I think about what I'm trying
Mm-hmm.
to avoid, not to hold me back from benefiting,
Yeah.
maybe this is just, for example, being lazy instead of because okay, I would like to be lazy, of course, like anyone else in the
Yes,
world, you know, like
exactly.
of course,
Yeah.
yes, I need to
Yeah.
be lazy. Please give me a little bit of
Yes.
time to be lazy.
Why
you know?
not?
Yeah.
Watch Netflix all weekend.
Or just
and,
rest, you know, just
yes.
a little bit of to be lazy, you know, just a
Yeah.
little bit. But and it's nice,
Mm.
but sometimes it feels hard to pick up this choice
Mm.
if you just have this feeling of like, okay, this is what could happen. And I think every person have their own drivers,
Mm-hmm.
but for some people it could be like, okay, this is not only me,
Mm.
so you know, I'm just not alone. I'm not the only one who is having fun. And if okay,
The
no,
community.
so you feel like, okay, I
Yeah.
can't. Okay, I can't also because of course it could be like too much. Okay, so what do I do? Then you try to find a compromise,
Mm-hmm.
and so I think there are some. I think that the main important actually like how to say this in English. The main important thing is to okay, how to say this in English.
Take your
Yes,
time.
the intention is to
Mm.
really. We have something is usually like when someone is doing something new
Mm-hmm.
or something new. Yes, we say جدد النية. It's like renew your intentions,
Mm.
which is a very interesting like, you know, thing that okay, what is this? How can I renew my intentions?
Mm-hmm.
And then when you think about it, you are doing anything that you do, you're doing it for based on an intention.
Mm-hmm.
If you would stand up to go to drink, okay, you are thirsty. So now, okay, you are drinking because you are thirsty.
Mm-hmm.
If you would like to go to school, you're going to school because you have something that you would like to do afterwards or with this or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So there's always an intention. And I think that what makes everything or anything just like okay is this particular part of the intention.
Mm.
And many times we just go in wrong intentions,
Mm.
which could be, for example, no, this will give me self-fulfillment.
Mm-hmm.
And then you realize, oh, this was bullshit, you know.
Mm.
There's no, actually no.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's nothing that gives anyone self-fulfillment actually at all, because like it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Actually, if you would like to be the best, I don't know, Kawala player in the world, it's a very bad thing if you become the best Kawala player in the world,
Mm-hmm.
because now you have nothing else to do.
Yeah.
So okay, now what? You know?
It seems like it's always better to connect to something larger.
Exactly. I
and
think it's better to like think more inward as in a matter of intention
Mm-hmm.
than in a matter of I would like to be the best Kawala player in the world,
Mm-hmm.
which
Yeah.
is really a bad wish, because if you become the best Kawala player in the world, this would be your nightmare. Because then you have nothing else that you would like to do, so there is no motivation to do anything, so you are dead.
Yes.
You know?
So it's good to attach the self-identity to the process of creativity crafting music, creating a community around it.
It's not really about self-identity, as
Okay.
it's more about intentions, literally intentions.
Intention.
Like, okay, why am I doing this? Why am I waking up each day, every day in the morning to go to work? Why? The question of why am I doing this? And I think everyone, they really should think about this question very clearly, and they should determine this why, because this is, interestingly, this is something that we decide, which is super interesting. You really decide why do you do this. And you can decide, oh, okay, I'm doing this to get money to go to Himalayas or to wherever, just to enjoy my life. Or you can decide, okay, no, I'm doing this to just have this feeling, the contribution of the work that I'm doing. It's really that you can decide. You can do this decision of why are you doing this, or you can renew this intention of why are you doing this. And I think that it's very important to have the right intentions in each and everything that a person is doing, because it's only then that you will do whatever it takes to do it also. You will not care about the results, because this is not really what you are doing it for. It's not really that, okay, the actual result, but no, you're doing it because this is what you should do because of this particular reason that you know.
I think
So
that
it's more
that
peaceful.
requires like the bravery of looking inside oneself. And be very honest
Exactly.
and with self-reflection.
Because like, we are full of of things that that is difficult for us to believe that we are full of those things. So it's really difficult, to just like believe it. And then, oh, interesting. This is how I was. This is why I was doing this. Wow. Okay, no, I need to shift why I'm doing it. Continue doing it. Maybe, but just shift why.
So the question then becomes, why are you doing what you're doing now, and how did you arrive to that realization by looking at?
I mean, at the very
yourself?
beginning, why I was doing it. So as I told you, it was like really. I wanted to have this feeling of like, okay, no, I have a lot. So I came, and I came to Germany to do my master's thesis, and then before also I came during my bachelor thesis in Germany. So I had a little bit of an introduction about Europe. But I had the feeling when I came at my PhD that, okay, this was a long term, and I had a feeling that people do not know about me. So I know here, okay, how things are going, but they don't know how things are going, So it's interesting.
Your inner world.
Yeah, my everything, my everything that I took. We are just memories and some stuff which form ourself, or we can say ourself. And this comes from a lot of things that I have lived with, combined with my model of AI system in my brain, combined with many other things, And then, okay, this is what it is at the moment. And I wanted people to like know about all this, which could also be the same as I wanted people to learn more about our traditional music when I was doing electronic music with our traditional music back in Tanta, even not in Cairo, and before I moved to Cairo. And so it's just a matter of, okay, no, I want people to know more about this. For me, it had also other aspects back in Cairo, because I mean, there's a lot of gaps, social gaps, and people could look at tradition in general in Egypt in a way which is, no, traditions are, very down. Culture is, like, not culture in its abstract term, but like traditions. I mean, it's very bad. We have a word that is considered as, but this, I think, is just cultural imperialism that is still there, but it reflects back from colonialism. And it's just that, okay, so we could have something called bi'a. Bi'a is like local. The wording local we say on things which are bad. And for me, this hurts a lot. So I was raised in this environment while knowing that this is wrong. This is the most beautiful thing ever, guys. You really have to like see what is this. You just need to go outside and then come back inside and just see how beautiful what you have, you know. So this was my perspective with my communities that I was raised in, because I also knew, and I am 100% convinced that it's very important to keep distinct cultures, while it's very important also to keep a common culture. So a common culture is very important for communication, because if we do not speak the same language, we cannot communicate. We will not be here today.
Yeah.
But keeping the traditional culture intact and alive, this is very, very, very important for humanity, even not for, so for many things, many reasons.
Yes.
For those people to thrive, they should have their own distinct culture, distinct. And add on this, if this culture is like thousands of years old, I mean, I've just told you, we have music with language that no one understands, but it's still surviving. So if this culture is, and it's used in healing since thousands of years, if this is just trial and error, I mean, what else can you prove? If something has been used in healing, proven used in healing by a community for thousands of years old, guys, this cannot be a joke, you know. At least have some faith or study it. You might want to study it. So, but not kill it. Unfortunately, when you try to have a common culture and then make everything the same, so let's kill all other languages, let's have only one language, let's kill all other instruments, let's have only one instrument. This is very bad, because then we lose information, we lose knowledge, thousands years old knowledge, you know. We lose a lot of things, and we lose the sense of the people and the particularity of their environment. People cannot live. We have also another problem in Egypt of this clothes, for example. So we have our traditional clothes, but I'm wearing this in Egypt like everyone else. And if I wear my traditional clothes, people again look at me in Cairo in a different way. Although the traditional clothes usually cost much higher than the normal Western clothes. But still people look at you like, okay, you know, you just come from the countryside, which is okay, what's wrong with this? And those are the types of things that I wanted to fight in Egypt, because I knew they were wrong. I knew they hurt my people, basically. I knew that they hurt me to live in this environment, and I just see a lot of things which are beautiful and they're fading away, and I feel bad. You know, it's just this feeling. And this is what drove me to also play a traditional instrument and also put tradition in electronic music, and like to go in this.
Yeah, to continue the lineage of I think I also have had this realization recently that we are not just we cannot separate ourselves from the lineage we come from. And then if we really be honest with ourselves and look back, all our actions, you can think that we have free will and you can decide to cut yourself out of the culture. But in reality, all of your actions, all of your thoughts, everything is the way it is because of the thousands of years and people before you has made decisions and to pass this on to you. So you can take this or you can stop it where you are, or you can continue. Like I think it's also a decision to make, a personal decision.
Yeah, in a way, yes, I agree. But in a way, I agree. Yes, you're right. You're right. But sometimes it's difficult.
Yes.
Sometimes it's difficult.
Yeah, and we are also constantly shaped by the environment. In some environments, I think it's easier to continue the lineage.
It's difficult, I'd say, if it's forced to be otherwise. No, it's very easy. If things flow, just flow. I mean, people just needs to know, okay, guys, what do you do in the house? You take the shoes outside? Okay, easy. You know? People just need to know, okay, what's up?
Yeah.
You just need to know how do people interact.
Yeah.
And think about children. They just need to know, okay, guys, what are the rules in this community? What do I need to do? What do I need not to do? And it's really very, very simple. But sometimes you force otherwise. You really force people. Okay, it's your culture to go to this place
Yeah.
at this particular day. Okay,
Mhm.
I will now make this day a working day.
Mhm.
You know,
Mm.
and then oh
Yeah.
wow, okay, then they
Yeah.
cannot do it.
It's a constant, let's say, negotiation between the self and the environment. I would, yeah, I don't know if you
Yeah,
would
yeah,
call,
yeah, yeah.
like,
You're right.
in some environments it's easier to negotiate a compromise, and
Exactly.
some environments it's
Exactly, because you're just forced
yeah,
into yeah,
yeah.
and then becomes difficult.
Hmm. Yes, and now let's talk about the community belong. The name, first of all, it feels very intentional. Why did you feel that it's the right name for the community you try to build?
It's okay. Let me try to remember how did this name come.
Yeah, it's
How did it come?
very
Actually, it was not
intuitive.
belong. It was no no okay. Interesting point. So this was by luck,
Mm.
completely. So back to engineering.
Mm.
My PhD project was called laser stamp,
Laser stamp.
which was an appreciation of something. So it was laser welding. What was it for? I forgot the abbreviation, but it was an appreciation of something. And when I was applying for research grants during my PhD, I learned from my professor how to make abbreviations,
Okay.
how to make a project name.
Mm.
This was something that I also like. Okay, so
Mm. It's an
but then my
art.
professor, it's an art.
Yes.
And then my professor, he was a really interesting guy. He passed away, unfortunately. It was a really, really
Ah, yes,
interesting
I
guy.
think
Oh,
I know the.
mm. And really helpful and really I learned a lot from him. So this was one of the things that I learned from. And what I'm saying is really interesting because he used to do this super quickly. And I am a slow type of guy when it comes to I don't know, maybe it's because of my artistic part, but I'm
I
a
think
slow type.
it's you seem to be a more reflective thinker, like
Maybe,
deeper.
maybe, but
Yes, I
I
can
just
relate.
I'm really like I'm slow. Like I take a lot of time in to do something which could be done super quickly, and this is something which a skill that I learned how to.
Mm.
No, you need to like. There's a lot of because I think I'm slow because I have more parameters in my brain.
Yes, yes. I have a whole theory. Some people think deeper,
Yeah, I just have
and
exactly. I
yes,
just
I
have
think
okay shit. Okay,
yes.
now those three are like okay, but then I still have 20 more.
Yes,
You know
you have a lot of perspective in your head, so you need to consider every single one
exactly.
before you. I understand. Yes.
And then I'm slow. But for when I was like when he was teaching me this, and it's
Mm.
always learning by doing. Okay,
Mm.
professor, we need to apply for other project. I cannot find the name.
Mm.
Why? Just come. Okay, what is it? Oh, okay, let's put words. Let's put keywords. Tack 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 tack.
Mm.
5 6 keywords instantly, like in 10
Mm.
minutes you have a name. And now when I went to industry, wow,
Yeah.
I'm like completely my this like very slow things of like it's completely changed because I
Mm.
or not changed, but now I know how to switch it on and when to switch it off.
Mm-hmm.
And I know it's okay to switch it off. At the beginning, I was scared, frankly, to
Mm.
switch it off because I still have those 20 other parameters, and But now,
Yeah. Yeah. You don't
because you
need
need to go,
to. Yeah. You
especially
need
if you
to.
work in industry on a production line, you really need to switch off.
Yeah.
And at this point, he gave, so I put keywords
Mm-hmm.
actually. So it was the B for B, E for embrace,
Mm.
L for learn.
Mm.
What was the O for? I forgot the O. Orchestrate. And
Okay.
the G is forgive.
Okay. Yeah.
And so the only thing that I wanted to do is to find keywords that reflect the project that when I put them together would form a word that makes sense.
Okay.
And
That's such a nice
then I just
technique.
found those keywords and then they belong. Oh, this makes very good sense.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it makes a lot of sense.
Exactly.
Yeah, and then like all of the layers behind it also like come together as
Exactly.
yeah. So
So
it
it was
does
just
have
the process, of
yeah.
that I learned
So,
from my PhD professor in engineering.
yes, very nice. And on your website, it says no matter where you come from, regardless of your background, you will relate. you will belong. This, I think, speaks to something universal about human experience. Why do you think this sense of belonging is so vital for anyone?
Because if you're in a room that you feel that, okay, no one knows me, then it's very difficult for you to shine, you know?
The disconnect.
Yeah. It's just, it's very difficult. And through this project, I saw that, okay, this would be a good mean of expression, a good mean of, and this is actually what we're doing, literally. Like, I think about it this way: when you're just in a car with a friend and you heard a good song, it's always like, hey, take a look at this one, it's amazing music, listen to this one. And this is what we do. So now you're having something which reflects to you, which has a meaning for you, which is this song or this music, and you would like to share it with other people. This is basically what we do. I have the music which I know, which has a lot of meanings for me, and I'd like to share it with other people. But then, of course, comes the problem that, okay, there's not too many Egyptian musicians in Luxembourg.
Yes.
And then comes the solution of Francois Carbon, why only Egyptian music?
Yeah.
So what we do, we just sit together and we teach. We do this in a much more fun way, that because I'm teaching this music to someone who is like very far from it, and then when I see this excitement, I feel, you know, this reward of like, someone understands me. You know?
There's something universal about this sense of belonging that bonds people together.
Yeah.
And it seems like it comes from your personal experience of feeling disconnected for periods of time, and then you found a way to share it and to provide it for other people as well.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's very admirable. And I think creating a community like this requires everyone involved to set aside the superficial differences about race, about nationality, age, gender, etc., and focus on the universal humanity behind it. What do you think that made you able to do that, and what experiences led you to this realization?
I don't think it's me, actually. I think it's just the idea, you know.
Yeah.
It was just a great idea that came together at the right moment, in the right time, with the right people. And then it happened.
Yeah, and all the people involved are able to set aside the superficial differences, and
Because we are all there really to just to have this, you know, feeling of
something
connection,
bigger. Yeah.
really of connection. That, okay, so this is me. How are you? You know,
Yeah.
who are you also?
Yes.
And then, okay, interesting, very interesting. And it's not only me. It's like, this is like, you know, my background. You see, this is the music I used to hear in the weddings of other, you know.
Yeah.
So it's really like it's some things which are very even difficult, if not impossible, to share in a different context, even than belong.
Yeah. Then what do you think prevents some people from not being able to set aside these differences? Like, we often see in the world, people put boxes around.
Yeah. I think because they don't know. It's just people don't know.
Not informed enough.
And then they have this
understand.
Yeah. Not informed, and then they have this question mark of and this fear, which comes with the question mark of anything. Whenever you have a question mark, you have fear. And then if you do not know that, okay, what, and this do not know actually goes both ways. You might not know, what should I do? Should I shake hands? Should I bow? Should I hug? What should I do? This is one thing which causes fear. And then automatically the brain's just like, okay, just avoid the situation, for example. Or, okay, just eliminate those people from Earth, you know, whatever your brain tells this person, whoever person to do. And then, okay, so this is one thing which is like causing this segregation. It's no information, and which generates fear, and then just making a block, you know, like then it becomes very difficult to cross, to make any bridges, because there is but if there is information exchange, and this information is being exchanged in a peaceful and respectful environment, basically. So if there's a bridge between those two cells, which even if they're completely separate, and there is a bridge which flows information in a way that is respectful in many things.
Yes.
So respectful is really in many things.
Very important.
Also respectful that the information is going like this, not like this.
Yeah, that has to be from
Yes.
both sides.
Yes.
Yes.
So if there is this bridge of, you can even call it selective information, even although it's not, but you can. So for example, in this case, it's okay, let's build a bridge of music, for example. But at the end, it's not music. It's not only music at all. But okay, let's build a bridge of music. And then you build a bridge of music, and you just try as much as possible to have an environment where it's respectful, that information would go both ways.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
normal
Great.
things, like nothing
Yeah.
really fancy, like completely normal.
Creating the environment
Yeah.
is also important,
Yeah.
and inviting
Of course.
people
Of course.
and be open to
course.
other perspectives. Yeah.
And I think if this is there, then information will flow,
Yeah.
and it will flow smoothly, and people would feel appreciated when the information is flowing. They will feel appreciated when the information is going, and when it's also being received. And when this is the feeling, then you know it's a nice environment to be in.
Yeah. And how about some practical aspect of building the community? When you first started, what were the first concrete steps you took to meet the people, get funding potentially, and get this project started?
So at the beginning, we started, as I told you, is the Anasia project. Anasia was Asia, North America, Africa, so the continents. And again, also the same trick of abbreviation with some keywords.
It's a project from the government, or
No, so Anasia was a student project at the University
Okay.
of Luxembourg. When I passed by Francois Carbon, I knocked on his door,
Uh-huh.
and then he told me, okay, no, let's do it. But why only Egyptian music?
Yeah.
So the first event that we did was actually a master class on Indian classical music with KG Westman. The funding was quite limited. I think we had maximum of 500 euros per year, but it was enough.
Okay.
It was more
Yes.
than enough, actually. We didn't need more.
Yeah.
And so with those money, we just hosted whatever we could host of events.
Yeah.
And with this master class, we had musicians coming over. So it was a master class on Indian
Okay.
classical music, the first one ever in Luxembourg, which is very surprising, actually. But okay. And then people came to learn more about Indian classical music. And by the end of the master class, I just told them, hey guys, where are you from? Where are you from? Where are you from? We were 5 people, I think, or 6. And different nationalities, Persian, Syrian, Shiston was there, Swedish,
Yes.
Swedish violin. Who else? And Jano, he plays also percussion, Luxembourgish she is. And then we said, okay, so why don't we meet and
Regularly.
and just like exchange. I can also teach you Egyptian piece, and you guys teach me where you're from, Persia. Okay, teach me like what do you have? Teach me about your music. Okay, let's just meet and let's just exchange.
Mm-hmm.
And then we started to meet, we started to exchange.
Yeah.
We made a set for maybe 45 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had a concert at the University of Luxembourg.
Mm.
And the project continued
Okay.
until 2022,
Yeah.
when we had, it was SU European Capital of Culture.
Mm-hmm.
And then Francois urged me to apply.
Uh-huh.
And so I applied,
Yeah.
or encouraged me, I'd say.
Uh-huh.
And I applied.
Yeah.
And
You got.
yes, and then we got the funding.
Yeah.
And the project got much more bigger than all of us had thought,
Oh, okay.
because I mean, we're just having fun, you know, like
Yeah.
we're just,
Yeah,
like,
so
goofing around.
you were like running on 500 euros a year for
Yeah.
a few years,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and then like you got some
Yeah, of
substantial
course, of
funding.
course.
Yeah.
And then interestingly, even this funding, it grew a lot throughout the year,
Uh-huh.
because so we were having fun,
Yeah.
and we had many partners also, very luckily,
Yeah.
and many local partners and international partners as well,
Mm.
others from around
Yeah.
France, and like really big cultural centers and big names like Rockall.
Uh-huh.
We had Escher Theatre also as a partner.
Well,
So we had a strong consortium of
Mhm.
partnerships.
that was before the Ash 22.
No, this was
project.
during the H22
During,
project.
Okay. Okay.
So during the
Yeah.
H22 project, when I was formulating the project itself,
Mm-hmm.
it was an opportunity basically to reach out.
Mm.
And
Yes.
I thought, okay, let's use it as much as possible. There is a lot of amazing, culture centers and amazing players in Luxembourg. Let's get to know those people and let's just work together.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we had those partnerships, and then people started to reach out even from across the borders, from the French borders,
Yeah.
to, okay, guys, we would like also to sponsor your project if you can come to do residency and workshops. And so then we started to go to France. So then the project started to get bigger.
Okay. Nice.
And one of the events which also made like a huge contribution, I'd say, in the project,
Mm-hmm.
and another thing also, but this one, like as a start, is the closing event of H22.
Mm-hmm.
So we were lucky that the project participated in the closing event on the main stage of Rockall,
Mm-hmm.
which is the biggest stage of Luxembourg. and
Yeah.
this is like the closing event of H22. So
Mm.
really
Yes, I
people
saw the videos.
yeah,
of it,
and people saw us
Mhm.
at this time.
Mhm.
And it was amazing, frankly, honestly.
Yeah.
Like all of us were very much into what we're doing. It
Yes,
was amazing,
it's
so
like a
much fun.
spiritual
Exactly.
experience. Yes.
It was really crazy. Like
Uh-huh.
when I think about it, guys, how did we make this? What happened? What
Mm.
happened? Really, like what happened? Seriously, what happened in this year? I have no idea. It's like a dream that just like
Yes, you take the initiative and follow the process and be consistent. You don't know what can happen.
and then things just you're doing nothing, but then just God is sending you gifts. Nothing. Yeah, literally, with responsibilities. You just of course you have to work much more, work much harder,
Yes.
but it's a gift.
Mhm.
And when you accept it with its responsibility,
Mhm.
then
Yeah,
you have fun.
it seems like all the good things in life comes with responsibility,
Yeah, of
and
course.
but it's a gift also, the responsibility. Yeah, so I personally actually also benefited from Belong's workshops, and that's how I met you. And
Thank you for sharing.
yeah, the sound equipment training and also videography series from amazing artists, and it all offered for free, and it was crazy. How and are these artists also covered by the funding?
Of course.
Yeah. Okay. And I guess this is ongoing, like through the years, and this year you will also have
Hopefully.
continue
Hopefully, yes.
the projects.
I also would like to take this opportunity and thank you for all your help in the project.
Yeah.
Really,
Of
thanks
course,
a lot.
I was so excited. I was also looking for connection because I went to an art school kind of in New York, and I wanted to be an artist, but it was difficult to be a starving artist living in New York. And then I realized, okay, I have to learn something useful. So I went to engineering, and then I transitioned myself now into an engineering role, kind of, and then now I'm finally stabilized, but I find this calling something deeper inside, like this is not enough. That's why I started to look for communities, and then also doing this podcast as well.
Great.
Trying to make connections, deeper connections with like-minded people, so I can very deeply relate to your need of connection. Yes, and having people understanding you. Yes. Yes, so there must be some challenges of there, because people come together. Yes, they have the common goal or common connection, but has there been any cultural clashes, or like people have holding different ideologies that conflict with each other? No?
Not really.
Okay.
Not really. Interestingly, not really.
Okay, so this is a very
it's interesting, but yeah.
Has there been any conflicts?
Normal conflicts between people, you know,
Okay.
like really normal conflicts between human beings.
Yes. So there's nothing like really, okay, my culture is better than yours.
No, not at all. Not at all. No.
Yes.
No, it's like, for example, no, this is how you should play the cafe compa.
Yeah.
Not like this. This is how you're putting the tick in the wrong tick, you know, like this type of conflicts. But
yes. What kind of work? Because it's an ongoing
but
project.
coming to challenges, because you mentioned one of the challenges is language.
Yes, that's a good point, because people come from different cultures. Yes. What are the language you speak usually?
I speak English.
Yes.
But not everyone speaks English. But then it's fun also.
Yeah.
Because
how do you manage that?
This is the fun part. That you still manage it, you know. And actually, only the idea that you try to manage it and you manage it is reflecting a completely different feeling with the whole community, you know, like with the whole people.
Yeah.
Which is very nice also.
Yeah.
Because, okay, you don't need to speak the same language. Okay, let's try to find a way, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think although it's a challenge, but I think it adds more dimension and more value even.
Yes. Yeah, I think this also relates to the perspective we talked about earlier. I think when there is a defect, sort to speak, you can also embrace this challenge and make it part of the art. So that's always a philosophy I subscribe to, because if I break something or if I meet a challenge, I kind of can bring that challenge. It's like, okay, great, we have a challenge, and we bring it and incorporate it into what into the whole bigger project, and usually it comes out more original that way. So
we had one concert once, and then we had a storytelling with Nguni, like storytelling piece. And during this storytelling piece, we said, okay, guys, we was just like at one part, let's all speak to each other on stage. We were around 20 musicians. And we said, okay, all of us will speak together on stage, but each and everyone with their own language. And this was a lot of fun. Because you do not actually understand what others are saying. But from the music of the sounds, you can still hear a conversation. So someone is speaking Arabic to someone else who's speaking Swedish, but then you see like you're like so you see like you hear this in two different languages.
Yeah.
So you feel something like a conversation, but if you understand both languages, actually this would be a lot of fun. I don't know what would be there.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, so you kind of also communicate through music as well. Yeah, and that's like a universal language.
Yes, and
Yes.
in this performance, this is what we wanted to say. It's just that, okay, guys, we know
It's-
that languages are different, but languages also has music into it.
Yeah.
And if you hear two languages
Yeah.
speaking to each other,
Yeah.
making themselves as if they're one language,
Yeah.
just like following the tonalities. Like when you reply, I will act as if I understood, and then you'll act as if you understood, but with your language.
Yeah.
Then you will hear a story, even if it does not make sense. But
Yes.
still, you will, as an outsider, you will hear a story. So you will hear interactions which are interesting.
Yes, you can build up a story
Exactly.
just from the tone and the
Exactly.
music behind the language. Yes. Yes. So, as a what kind of work is required to keep this community alive? Like practical work. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. From of course, from like managerial work, you have applying for the funding,
Yes.
budgeting, getting the funding, getting more sponsors, because usually you do not get all the funding from one financial body. So getting more sponsors,
Yeah.
convincing the people, of course, about the project. Yeah, and then the planning. So getting the people, like getting musicians, getting audiovisual artists, getting equipment,
Yeah.
getting the audience, having
Yeah.
everyone together.
Yeah.
So,
Does these practical works sometimes get in the way of you being a musician?
of course,
Yeah.
I would definitely love to just like delegate
Yeah.
all the administrative stuff. Definitely, no question. Yeah, it's just not easy also because funding is not that much, so that I do not have funding to hire part-time or full-time. So yeah.
So, but as a community leader, what qualities, more abstract qualities, do you think is essential to have? Like responsibility.
Of course,
Yeah.
yes. I mean, many things. I think trust is the most important one.
Okay.
And trust cannot be obtained without many things. Transparency, I don't know, like... so if you're the one who's cooking, you should be the last to eat,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
And if things are going this way, then people will eat happily. So because they will get served well.
To build trust requires, if you say something, you deliver that.
Of course,
and
yeah, all
people
of this.
trust.
But just to summarize it more, it's just like yeah, if you're cooking dinner to 30 people, you should be the last to eat.
Yes.
Simply because can I have a spoon? Oh, sorry, the fork fell. Sorry, I had So basically, okay, I think now I know what I wanted to say. We have also this Arabic word. It's called خادم القوم سيدهم. So it's like to the only way to lead whatever into wherever is to serve. And basically I think this is really the right terminology, like how it's just like really to serve literally in all different aspects. And this goes in everything, like everything. Like you need to make sure that the people are happy, you need to make sure that the people are well served, I think this is the most important thing, that people are well served. And that you did whatever you could, you did your most that you can in order that the people are well served, their needs are well served. All the people, so audience, artists, sponsors, partners, stakeholders, everyone. Seriously.
Yes. Yeah.
And I think this is like the most important part, is
to give and not necessarily expect the reward.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Oh, not at all.
Yeah.
No.
But
This is dangerous. Yeah, this is really dangerous. No.
Why is
because
it?
Because you get rejections in everywhere. And if you build your motivation on rewards, no.
Yeah. What do you build your motivation upon? It's
just For me, I just see it as okay. Now God is giving me this, and with this, with this, with this, and okay. Now the question for me is okay. What are you gonna do? You know, and then the answer that I should ask myself could be okay. I'm gonna just like put everything together, and I'm gonna make this very nice thing. But then the question that I have to reflect on is why do I want to do this? And I think this is a trick. Like I really think this is a trap,
Yeah,
actually.
you have a purpose behind it. It seems like.
And this is a trap. And it's not a purpose. You have an intention.
Yeah, behind the purpose.
Yes, it's not really a purpose. It's an intention.
Okay.
The purpose could be just okay. No, it's just like I have this. You know, I have this. It's just like I have a baby. Just to put it simply, seriously.
Yes.
Okay, I'm not expecting a baby, but okay, I have a baby. Now God give me a baby. Okay, what will you do? You know, it's so it's really it's like this. What will you do? Okay, so now I could still like live my life as a single man, or I could be
Take
responsible.
your responsibility. Yeah.
I could do both. If I decided to be responsible, I have to ask myself, what is my intention of being responsible? If my intention is unconditional giving and unconditional, or not intention, like this is the way, but the intention is through this way, then okay, then you're on the right path. Go, you know. But if your intention is okay, no, I need to raise this boy because then when I'm 60, because I need someone to bring the trash down to the garbage,
Yes.
you know, or for whatever
Yeah.
reason, I think you should question it. And I think this is really because if your intention is like, I need to bring someone because I want him to get the garbage down to the trash, for example, then when you ask, can you bring the garbage down? And then there is a no, then you start to be like, oh, but this is not, then you need to come back to your intentions. And I think this is really the real trick and key to just stay straight. To just walk straight on one, you know, thing.
Yes.
But otherwise, it's like, it's not right. And yeah, so.
Yes. So you seem to look at the world through a lens of love, through a lens of well intentions. Though I'm sure you have faced a lot of struggles and setbacks. How do you stay grounded through difficulty? Because you can have the best intention and then you get punished for your intentions.
If this is the case, you will not care at all.
Okay.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
No.
How do you let it go though? Like
I try to.
Yeah.
I try. I don't say I succeed, but I think no. If this is the case, it will not matter at all. Because even philosophically, I mean, even practically, we are all gonna die.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, facts. Okay, and okay, so let's think about this fact for a single second. We could think about it of like, does this? It's a good thing, or we can think about it that it's a very bad thing. That it's a very bad. You know, like why would I don't know actually how it would be bad, so I cannot even justify it. But we can think about it that it's a good thing. That it's okay. There's this art in I don't know if it's in China. I think it's in Tibet, and they have this sand, colored sand, with like a cone, copper cone, and then they put the sand, many monks, and they put the amazing, really big drawing with grains of sand. I don't know how much time they spent on it.
Yeah.
And when you look at it, wow, amazing. But then once it's done, they just stand for a little bit, enjoy, and then.
Yeah.
And for me, this is life. This is life, and this is how we should think about it. You know, it doesn't care if this drop of sand went down in another position. That what you intended that this or what you wanted this drop of sand to fall. You wanted this drop of sand to be here, but it fell. Okay, it's gonna be white type anyways.
Yeah.
So this is not the issue. You know, it's not really the issue if is the drop sand, did it fail here or did it fail here or it fail here or it fail here? Because it's gonna be whipping away anyways. We're gonna die. So
Yeah.
forget about all this. You know, this
Yes.
doesn't matter. It really does not matter.
Mm.
But what matters, I think, again, is our intentions. You know, in this life. Okay, so why are we doing this? You know, why? Like intention wise, not why of like Launur, like really, why? What is my intention
Yeah.
of doing it? And there is also always this, you can call it philosophical, so this philosophical conflict in Islam, between Islamic scholars, for example, like is human being musayyar or mukhayyar? It's like, do we have control, or are we just put into something? Are we like a thread that moves in air, that we have no control on where the air is blowing? Or do we have control on our actions? You know, this is like a big philosophical questions. Do we have control, or is it no? Are we like we are made to do all this? So and it's a big philosophical question. To me, when I reflect on it, I think that the only things that we do have control on is our intentions. But anything that comes back, we have no single control on whatever. I do not control my heartbeat. What can I control?
Yeah. I think
Control nothing.
I would add intentions, also our actions, because I find that if we don't watch out our actions might not reflect truthfully our intentions.
They don't have to be.
They don't have to
Of
be.
course not.
Okay,
Yeah, that's
why
it.
why is that?
It's the same reason. Because if you do not care about, for example, okay, let's say, it's also like, okay, so let's say that some people treat a guy badly, and then this guy has good intentions plus knowledge. Another guy has good intentions, no knowledge, and they treated him badly. Or different story. Okay, so they treated him good, so he enters in a boat. Okay, both enters in a boat with sailors, and then the sailors treat them very good, and they delivered them where they want. They made them food, they made them eat, they treat them very, very nicely. But when they arrived, the guy, one of them, he made a hole in the ship, and they both came down. And this is actually a story in Quran, which is interesting. Then they both came down. One of them is Moses, and Moses is the one who did not have knowledge. The other guy is a guy who was not a prophet, but had knowledge. But both had good intentions. The interesting part is when they go down, so the story goes that Moses met this guy who has knowledge, and he wanted to meet a guy with this knowledge. And also in Quran, Moses spoke to God, so he's like, you know, in a very high level of spirituality, but still. So this guy, when they went out, at the beginning when they met him, he told them, I want to walk with you, so I learned from your knowledge. And then he told him, you will not be patient. I told him, no, I will be. I told him, no, you cannot be patient. I told him, why? I told him, because you do not have the knowledge. So how can you be patient on something that you do not know? I told him, no, I will be. I said, okay, come with me, let's see. And this is one of the incidents. There is several, but this is one that I'm telling you with the ship, that of the people that treat him good. And then he made the hole in the ship. So when they came down, I told him, why did you do this? Those people treat us very good. And then I told him, I told you that you will not be patient. And then another incident. And after 3 incidents, he could not be patient. And they told him, okay, that's it. You cannot come with me any longer. You cannot accompany me any longer. But I will tell you why I did all those 3 things. So coming back to the boat, this story, I told him, this boat is for people who are very nice people. And the king of this village will collect all boats of the village to take it to his, like army or whatever. So I wanted to make a hole in the boat so that the king will not take it. So he had knowledge, plus good intentions. Moses had good intentions, but he did not know that there is a king in this village who will take the ship. So then it's good actually for the people to make a hole in the ship. You see? So it does not actually matter if what really matters in this story. I'm not saying Moses was wrong, and I'm not saying the other guy is wrong, because both has the good intentions.
Yes.
You see what I mean? So in this story, you have 2 different actions, completely different, but the intention is good. And at the end, both got the reward, I'd say. It's not that someone, maybe one did not understand, but then he understood from the story that you do not need to understand everything. You cannot comprehend everything, actually. There is a lot more than those 20 other parameters that I just mentioned that you can
Yes.
go off.
Yeah. So you can only act
Your intentions, this is the only thing that you
based
can.
on your intentions, and what's resultant from it is
Exactly. You can
not,
only
you cannot.
control actually your intentions. Because as I just told you, I do not control my heartbeat.
Yeah.
Do I know if I would still be alive until I go down the stairs to get in my car? I don't know.
Yeah.
So I have no control in anything which is outside of anything, which is outside my intentions.
But it is still important to act.
To act, yes.
Yes.
Of course.
But yeah, but
But with which
everyone
intentions?
would act based on your intentions.
Exactly.
Yes.
And you could act two different acts, but the intention is good in both.
Yeah, and you
So-
cannot judge which action is better.
No, you cannot
or
judge
not.
intentions of human beings. You cannot. I mean, it's difficult to judge your own.
Yeah,
Even
because
able to judge others.
because the action can be judged in many different ways,
Yeah,
and it's larger than than oneself. Yeah.
And it's even us,
Interesting.
we cannot judge our own intentions. I mean, it's a lot of effort
Mm-hmm.
to dig into ourselves and oh shit, was I doing this for this reason? Wow, no, I should change my intentions, you know.
Okay.
Even this is very difficult process. Just to understand, am I doing it out of ego? Am I doing it out of what? Because if you're doing it out of ego, you'll get pain, you know. If you're doing it out of love, you will never get pain because it doesn't make sense. You will not get it. Pain will not. You will not get it because you don't care about what you get back in return.
Can you tell if people are acting, what type of intention people are acting upon? Because sometimes I meet a person and then they maybe act seemingly as if they are well intentioned, but then find out, okay, like later on, that okay, that's actually just them acting out of a not necessarily bad, like, or selfish intentions, but they act in a way that seemed selfless. Yeah.
Yeah, of course
So-
it happens. It happens. Everyone does it.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
every now and then. And as I told you, it's difficult to dig to ourselves to like, oh, I was doing this for this. Wow.
Do you think it's important to understand other people's intentions?
So practically speaking,
Yeah.
yes and no.
Okay.
So it's important to be cautious in general in life, but it's also important actually to give excuses to others.
To forgive or
Not forgive. So I think there are two levels. There is a level of tolerance and there is a level of acceptance. And the level of tolerance is just when you're like, okay, this is painful, but I tolerate it. But it's painful, you know? Level of acceptance is like, I accept the fact that it's painful. So I think it's another level of dealing with things. And when it comes to how did I come here? Your question was about
is it important to understand other people's intentions?
so understanding other people's intentions would be first of all impossible.
Yes.
As I told you, it's difficult to even understand our own intentions. And perhaps a good strategy would be to put excuses for others. For example, maybe he's like this. Like not like this, like no, maybe for example he is having a hard day, you know, so then maybe I don't know, maybe whatever, you know, like this is just a good way to make yourself okay with
Yeah.
whatever is happening. It's just to, and also in our culture we say that they have to be 70. So you have to think about 70 excuses for
Oh, okay.
70, yeah.
Oh,
So
wow.
you have to think about 70 excuses for this person. Why did he do this something which made you upset? So think about 70 and then you start acting. If we are doing this, I think we're just gonna be more peaceful
Yeah.
inside.
I don't think
And
everyone's thinking
yeah,
70. Yes.
and not concentrating that much also on like intentions on why did he do this, but at the same time it's important to stick to caution in general. Also another Arabic saying, it's like حرص ولا تخون, you know, it's like be cautious but do not doubt other people's intention. So I will be cautious. I will protect everything that I want to
Yes.
protect. I will not even
Yeah.
give the access for this person
Yeah.
to mess up with this
Yes.
stuff.
Have boundaries.
Yeah,
Yes.
but at the same time, I'm not having any doubts about the intention of this person. And if I started to have doubts, then I should correct myself and be more rational and more reasonable by thinking about 70 excuses. And this could include just the chemistry of the brain, which we have no control on.
Yeah.
No,
Yes.
seriously, literally.
Yeah. Do you have a spiritual practice like meditation that you do, or you pray
Yes, of course. Yeah,
and to ground you
of course,
every
yes.
day?
Muslims pray 5 times a day. So,
Yeah, so you
it's a
follow
consistent process.
Yes. And each time you pray, you also go through this reflection, or I don't know.
Sure,
the
sure. I
details.
mean, you
Yeah.
can. You can definitely. But, and I think, of course, this is in every religion, but I'm just speaking about Islam because it's the only one that I know exactly
Yeah,
about
yeah.
Egyptian music. But, yeah, so in like our prayers in Islam, even if you do not like do those reflections, I think even just the physical movement themselves,
The ritual.
yes,
Yeah.
even this itself, it really does have a strong impact because, I mean, just think about the fact that, okay, a person is putting their head on the floor, not for another person, not for another object, not for another thing, not for another, but for the creator, who cannot be even identified or objectified or like defined or, you know, like cannot. So the person is doing this 5 times a day, just really for like, it's really creator, not even being, because being would be a wrong word. So a creator that cannot be defined generally. So whenever you have a certain definition, you know that you're wrong automatically.
Yeah.
And you're doing this 5 times a day, and I think only the idea that people are just putting their head on the floor for this and putting away every other thing which is worldly or, like, you know, every other thing, everything that could have the definition of a thing. I think this is enough, really. Like just even this physical
Yeah.
movement with this perception, I think it's you know, it's good enough. It's a good charging.
Yeah, I think I would have to say I only recently start to understand the spiritual practice of it all, because I think without it, it's easy to drift away.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think personally I was drifting away and losing the sense of grounding of who I am.
Yeah.
And then by implementing meditation for me every day, and then trying to stick to the same habits, better habits every day, and also already, and self-reflection also. it has helped me to really like grounded me and realize, okay, what is really why I'm doing things instead of what I'm doing. So I think I really start to understand the spiritual aspect of the importance of doing these practices also. Yeah. So, and I want to ask, we have talked a lot about music, about religion, about community. What do you think ultimately gives your life meaning?
Life.
To live the journey itself.
Yeah, that's, I mean, what else could it be? It's just life.
Yeah, it's
I mean,
like
what
the
really,
process.
what else could it be?
Mm. Yeah, to live it 100%.
Yeah. Yeah. But life, literally, I mean, just life, just this fact of just what we're in,
Mm-hmm.
not anything else, but just sky, you know, air, you know,
Mm-hmm.
feeling of fingers on fingers, just
Yeah.
this life.
Yeah. Simple and
Yeah.
profound. Yeah. So let's say, what suggestions would you give me in terms of building my community? I started this podcast. My goal is to expose my inner world to other people and connect in a deep level. And I'm always attracted to deep thinkers, people who are not satisfied with superficial differences of things, and I want to create a space for that type of conversation to happen. I hope I'm able to create that
Yeah,
today.
very,
Yeah.
very much. Thank you.
And
Thank you.
what suggestions do you think I can do in terms of reaching out to guests or building a community around it? Yeah.
I have to admit it's a little bit a different project
Yes.
than what we're doing at Belong, so
Mm.
it would be difficult for me, you know, to
Yeah.
advise
Or
practically.
yeah, or like how to gather people together, or how to provide a good environment in terms of conversations. Yeah.
I think you're doing it really amazingly. Yeah,
Okay.
seriously,
Thank you. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. You ask very interesting questions,
Mm.
and the conversation is very comfortable and, you know, and open. So
Yeah. Yeah. How about then in terms of a practical aspect, like where can I go to look for funding potentially?
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So
In anything you can think of. Yeah.
what what do you need? What do you still need?
Like I guess a space, a studio.
Okay.
Like it's in my apartment right now.
Uh-huh.
The separate room of my apartment, I use like maybe some equipment.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that and some better possibility to reach out like good guests, I guess. Yeah.
Okay. So, for a better possibility to reach out, let's think about where you could find people.
Hmm. Yes, exactly. That's a very yeah.
Maybe University of Luxembourg.
Mm-hmm. University.
In this case,
Mm-hmm.
you could speak with Anouk Weiss.
Mm-hmm.
She's the Espace Culture head,
Mm-hmm.
and she could be interested to support.
Mm-hmm.
What she could do, she could just spread the word out. Like, hey guys, there's this podcast. If you're interested to apply, please just send an email out. You know, could be.
Yeah.
Uh,
Okay.
This could be one way.
Yeah.
Student associations also
Students.
at the university.
Mm-hmm.
Who else?
Do you personally know anyone that you think would enjoy this type of discussions?
I'll think about it. I'll let you know definitely. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
So when it comes to equipment, there is. Oh, okay. So there are studios for rental in general, and
Yeah.
those ones are not expensive at all.
Okay.
Like Sonotron, for example.
Solid.
Sonotron. It's in
Solid.
different notch.
Okay.
It's a music rehearsal space,
Okay.
but it could be nice if you could just do nice scenography in one of the rooms. Equipment, I think there is one association that provides equipment for rental.
Okay.
But also at any time, if you need something, just let me know. We also have equipment that belong. So.
Ah, yes.
And if you'd like to do the podcast also in our room, feel welcome.
Okay.
You know
I
where it
will
is?
think of, yes. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, I think maybe some artists belong would be
Of course.
interesting to
Actually, of course.
interview.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And how their journey has been.
Oh,
yes.
okay.
Yeah.
Now we opened a lot of. Okay, now I know a lot of people. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah.